Okay guys, we are gonna be going to a home that we just picked up that we got from cold calling the inherited list, and we are going to go over exactly why we're gonna wholetail this deal. This is a perfect example, and I'll show you step by step exactly why I chose to wholetail this deal versus wholesale. Now, I think what a lot of people want to know is maybe understanding a little bit more about what is a wholetail deal, maybe what the wholesale deal. Everyone's familiar with the wholesale, where you can either just simply assign it to an end buyer with an assignable agreement, or you can double close and then still just sell it that same day to your end buyer, your cash buyer. Now with the wholetail deal, it's gonna be a little bit different, a little bit unique, right? Because on the wholetail deal, what that is you're combining the art of wholesaling, which is finding that home at a deep discount, but then finding your highest paid cash buyer, or I should say your end buyer, which is always gonna be a retail buyer. And so this home is a perfect example of why we wanna do more of a retail deal versus just a wholesale deal to a cash buyer. That's obviously not gonna be our highest and best pay for this home. Now the lighting's not gonna be super awesome. It's an older home, so this room doesn't even have lights. This lamp, this bulb's out. But what you're looking at is a home that's not in bad shape, it's just dated. And so the neighborhood, why I love this neighborhood and why I continually choose the wholetail in a neighborhood like this if the home's in this condition, is because you're attracting all three of the buyers. The three buyers that we're always looking for are either just a cash buyer that's just a rehabber, and he's gonna go through and fix it up, put it back on the market, like fix and flip it, or you've got your landlord that's just doing it for a long-term buy and hold that's gonna rent it out. And then you've got your retail buyer, right? So your cash buyer that's gonna fix and flip it is gonna be your lowest paying buyer. Your landlord's gonna pay a little bit more because they don't have to do as much to get it rent ready. And then your highest paying is obviously gonna be your retail. So as you're going through the home, you'll notice that it has to be in, I would say, like a lendable condition. And what I mean by that is it's gotta be, you gotta look at Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, you gotta look like the Wells Fargo, the banks. Will they lend on this home? And the key things they're looking for is making sure that you don't have boarded up windows. And so you've got everything that you need have. All the windows are in perfect condition. The roof's in great shape. That's a big one. And then obviously flooring. Now, even though this is dated and super, super ugly, you've got the olive green, it's just nasty. You've got pink in here, so the bedrooms don't even match. But what's super nice about this is even where we're missing carpet right here, we're actually missing flooring. Now in a typical lendable, especially like an FHA loan, they're gonna hate this. And so they're gonna make you replace it. Now the beautiful thing about older homes is what you have underneath this carpet, and that is original hardwood floors. So it doesn't matter that you're missing carpet right here because you've got these beautiful hardwood floors underneath. So what we'll probably have to do is just remove this room's carpet, and you still have the original flooring, which is absolutely beautiful and what people are looking for. But in all, you still have, yes, they're dated windows, but again, it's lendable. So there's no broken windows, there's no boarded up windows. There's flooring, and where there isn't flooring, there's original hardwood floors. The roof's in great condition. And so what we're looking for now, that this is just like this, we're not gonna do anything to it. We're not in the business to fix and flip. So our philosophy at Wholesaling Inc. is stay super, super focused at just wholesaling. You don't wanna become an expert at 3 or 4 different exit strategies, but in wholesaling, you can simply, by just buying this home now, you can now choose to make more on this investment, and that's by doing the wholetail deal, by selling it to a retail buyer. So one thing that I'll point out too, in case you're not familiar with this is radiant heat. So these aren't even electric baseboards. There's hot water going through these to do the radiant heat to warm up this house. So it doesn't even have a furnace. But again, it's still lendable. But the big thing that we're gonna be looking at, and you've got to make sure that everything's working, the plumbing's working. You just got to make sure the basic, the nut and bolts, everything good. Because I don't want to invest a lot of time in this. I don't want to get contractors, and I joke all the time that contractors are, with the fix and flip game, if you were to remove the fix and flip game, it'd actually say adult daycare. And it's because you're stuck with a home for 6 months 7 months to get it back on the market because you have to babysit all these contractors and make sure that they do their job, and then it just pushes out so long. So I don't want that. For a Wholetail deal, I just simply want to buy the home and just put it right back on the MLS right now, the next day, as is. And what you're doing is you're doing the same strategy as what you would for a wholesale deal, and that is put it out there at a price that gets a lot of interest, so a lot of cash buyers come in, and you don't ever want to become like the cash buyer's employee and just have one cash buyer. Have a ton of cash buyers so that you can get your offers going up. That's how you make your money. So on a Wholetail deal, since you're putting on the MLS, and because it's not in perfect condition, it's not at a true after repair value because it's all dated, what you don't want to do is put it at a price that you don't want to put at the highest price, I should say. You don't want to put it at, if the neighborhood's going for 260, you don't want to put this at 260. You want to put this more around like the 239, maybe 235 to 240, right? And that's what you're going to do so that you get that ton of interest, because there's a lot of retail buyers that are now interested in this area. And they're gonna know when it hits the MLS, their agents are gonna be like, we've gotta go take a look at this. This home is $30,000 less than what all the other homes are going for. So in this neighborhood, not many homes actually have a basement. So this makes this a slam dunk, because look what we have. So we have a basement. Now, this wasn't the original floor plan. This was dug out after the fact. And I'll show you a couple things that you can find out real quick on how you know if it was done after the fact. They always will have like a shelf around the whole entire basement, because what happens is the original footing went to here and they can't dig lower than that. So what they'll do is they'll bump it in and dig a new foundation for the basement. So this is a good way to know that this was done after the fact. Now the beauty about this is it almost doubles the square footage. So now you're playing in a market where a home that just has the normal upstairs level and that's it are selling for $260. If this is finished, I mean, you're looking at adding another $20,000, $30,000 to this home by having just double the square footage. So it helps it be really a slam dunk deal. This is gonna be unique to this neighborhood. Another thing that it does is if a landlord ends up wanting it, he's able to finish this out, get a few more bedrooms in here, get another bathroom in here, and rents start to go through the roof because now you have more bedrooms, more bathrooms. You've got like your, I would call it like a cellar where you can store food and they have a fridge. But this really ends up being really a slam dunk. Now, a couple things that I always tell anyone getting into this, I didn't get into wholetailing until I was actually wholesaling homes for about 18 months. And there's a couple reasons why I ended up doing it that way. First is you run into the problem of an FHA buyer. So that's the first time home buyer. If they are getting the FHA loan, the issue with that is they can't buy the home, that buyer, they cannot close on it with an FHA loan until you've owned the home, the actual person that's investing in this. So if you're gonna wholetail deal, I have to hold this home for 90 days before I can sell it to an FHA buyer. That makes it where you're gonna, if you're borrowing hard cash, that's the second problem. A lot of people don't think about the cost for hard cash if you're gonna buy this. So if you don't have your own money and you're not gonna buy it with your own cash, you really have to think about what it is gonna cost you with the hard cash as you're holding on to it for 90 days if it ends up being a FHA home buyer. So most home buyers, or retail buyers I should say, in this neighborhood, it's gonna be most likely an FHA loan. So we know we're gonna most likely have to hold on to this for 90 days. Now the beauty is we did use our own cash. So the reason why I didn't get into wholetailing the first 18 months, there's a couple things. I didn't know the market like I know it now. We've done so many deals, and we probably have done 80 deals before we actually did our first wholetail deal, because you have to get the price that you think it's gonna go for. So if you're looking to get 260 and you're hoping on that, but it actually sells for 230, that $30,000 swing could be the difference of making no money at all, or even now making it where you're upside down. So you gotta be cautious, and that's why it took me time, because I didn't wanna just jump into, okay, how do I make the most money? How do I make the most money? I wanted to do it methodically and make sure I was doing things. So again, our philosophy at Wholesaling Inc., get super good, get revenue in first position, do a ton of deals, start building up that bank account, And in doing so, also what you're doing is you're starting to learn your market. You're really starting to learn, especially how I started out. I was very dialed in on specific neighborhoods. I was farming those neighborhoods like crazy. And so when a home came up in that area, it ended up being something that I just knew instantly, this is the price of the home, this is what it'll be, and we can sell it for. So now we're very comfortable. Every single deal we come across, we're very comfortable knowing instantly, is this a wholesale deal? Is this a wholesale deal? And we're comfortable buying it if we know it's a wholesale deal, because we also know what it's gonna sell for. Some of the other reasons why you've gotta be careful when you're buying a wholesale deal or you're gonna do a wholesale deal is because you really have to consider all the things, and a lot of people forget their small details that can ruin a deal, like getting an insurance policy. The first time we did this, I did not get an insurance policy, and it has to be a vacant home policy. I think so many people think it's a rental. Remember, there's no renters here. This is absolutely just a vacant home, so make sure you're buying the correct policy as well, which is normally a vacant home policy. I didn't do that the first time. Now, nothing happened, thank goodness. But had it happened and a home caught on fire, I'm out all of that money, and it would have been absolutely a nightmare. So first and foremost, the insurance. Secondly, you've got to put the utilities in your name. And again, the first home we didn't do this. So what happened? Now, it happened to be in the summer months, but the utilities got shut off. So electricity was off, heater was off, water was off. Now, again, thank goodness it was summer, because right now we're in the winter months. If that happens now and the pipes freeze and water just gushes everywhere and it floods your home, another nightmare, right? So a lot of the policies that you're gonna buy, the vacant home policies, a lot of those policies are not going to cover frozen pipes or bursting pipes. So that's why you gotta make sure utilities are in your name. Keep the home heated, keep it warm so the pipes can't freeze. These are crucial things that I've learned over the time that I don't want you to learn by making a mistake. I lucked out, but don't luck out. Just do it right the first time. Now make sure if you're gonna choose to wholesale your deal just like we did on this one, make sure that you get utilities in your name, make sure you get an insurance policy, make sure it's lendable, and then hopefully all of this will lead you to your highest paying buyer, and that is a retail buyer. Now I want each one of you to take a second and hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the bell so that you're notified exactly when we upload new videos, and I'll catch you on the next one.